Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to your cryptocurrency report. Listen, I'm glad to have you guys here. Now, I want to talk about the latest, what's happening in Bitcoin price, how the price has been going back down a little bit. I want to talk about the reasons possibly why, and how far down I think it'll go, and when we can expect the next leg up in this rally. Or not, it's actually not a rally, it's a bull market again. So let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here. And first, let's take a look at Bitcoin price today. Let's see. The last price I got in 15 minutes ago was 10,535.04. Let me refresh the page because that's 15 minutes ago. 10,627. Okay, that's where we're at right now. Now, I get an awful lot of, some people are saying that, well, let's take a look at the articles here. This article says why Bitcoin would be headed for prices between $93.50 and $96.50 after $75+ billion of losses. And so this article, they're thinking that the price is going to go down to about 95, 9600. Now let's look at a different article. This article says that Bitcoin price double bottom won't happen. $9,000 Bitcoin is impossible. They're saying right here. The present situation of Bitcoin is surprising since the digital currency continues to retest the $10,000 range after going past $12,000 a number of times. The situation has caused a wave of panic and confusion among cryptocurrency enthusiasts, especially this time that the President of the United States doubled down on cryptocurrency, mentioning Bitcoin and Facebook's Libra as digital assets that cannot replace the US dollar with their hypervolatility. So, the only thing they have against Bitcoin now, going back a few years, I remember they had everything against Bitcoin. Now, the only thing that they can really say is, well, it's too volatile. Yes, it is volatile. And here's the thing. Bitcoin works just like any other market. All the other markets work the same way. But picture a market that's speeding along at about 10 times the normal speed of any other market. Maybe 20 times the normal speed. So, the stock market's doing exactly the same thing right now, but it's not falling off right now. The stock market would be right where Bitcoin was when it was around 12,500. That's what the stock market. It looks just like the Dow Jones. Except how long did it take the Dow Jones to make this chart? Well, it took it years. How long did it take Bitcoin? Just a few months. So like I say, it's compressed, and the stock market's going to be doing the same thing Bitcoin's doing right now, probably in a couple months down the road. In other words, a big red candle. Well, we've had two big red candles right here in a row. This one we're on right now is the biggest. If we go in and take a look at it, and it's taken the price down to 10,627. Now, I think it's entirely possible, looking at this chart, for us to go down as low as $8,000 and still be in this bull market. That doesn't mean the bull market's ended. We can go down as low as $8,000 and still be in this bull market easily. And you're gonna find that there's tremendous support around the $8,000 mark. There's also support around the $9,000 mark. There's a lot of support. And what's happened is, and essentially I'll put it into a nutshell, Bitcoin's moved up awfully fast, even for Bitcoin, in these few months here. Bitcoin's moved up awfully fast, even too fast. And I think that it's a multiple of different things that's caused Bitcoin to move up so fast in price. Partially, Tether's probably partially responsible for this. I don't know how much Tether's responsible for it, but I also think that there's been large players accumulating Bitcoin as well. So we got both of those things coming together. Part of it was Tether, and a large part of it was the accumulation by large players, whales accumulating Bitcoin. And that's what's driven the price up to 13,800, which didn't last very long, the price of 13.8. Anyway, right now we're seeing it come back down to $10,600. An awful lot of people are getting discouraged. This is creating a buying opportunity. We could see it break down below $10,000 into the 9,000s very easily. And it could even go, in my mind, as low as $8,000. But it's going to hit, if it goes down as low as $8,000, it's going to hit an awful lot of resistance at that level. Now, if the Bitcoin price goes as low as $8,000, and then we were to get something happen like Tether, a crackdown on Tether, you know, by the United States government, well, what would happen is Bitcoin wouldn't be that much affected because it's already lost the if it goes as low as 8,000, it's already lost it's already went down, in other words, you know. And there's an old thing, there's how the markets work. If something goes down too low, too fast, it means it's going to spring back up. And if something goes up too fast and gets up into nosebleed territory where it shouldn't be, then it's going to come down, you know. Markets have a way of finding fair market value. And we're still in this bull market, but the Bitcoin right now it's kind of establishing itself at these new levels, you know. And it's what it does is it never goes up in a straight line. Your markets never ever go up in a straight line. They go up really high and then they drop off a little bit before they get ready to go up again later. And so that's what Bitcoin's doing. It's finding a level. I think it's going to find its level probably in around the $10,000 mark, maybe a little bit lower. It could go as low as 8,000. It's going to go along for a little while now until it starts to heat up again later. How long will it go along before it starts to heat up? I don't think very long, because I think there's going to be successive, one after another, rate cuts by the U.S. Federal Reserve. Now, there's a big situation out there right now that's bigger than Tether. It's called Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank didn't go down yet, but they're in big, huge trouble. What they're basically doing is they're basically they're cutting their bank all up into pieces. They're chopping employees left and right. They're closing branches. All this is doing is just kind of shrinking the bank's business model down smaller and smaller. And in the end, how can they make money? This is not going to work in the end. Lopping everything off is not going to work, ultimately, in the end. But it's going to take a few months to prove that it's not going to work. You know? It's going to take probably a couple quarters, 1 or 2 quarters, to prove that it won't work. Ultimately, Deutsche Bank is going to fail. Doing some research into this the other night, some deep research into Deutsche Bank's derivatives. And sometimes, the more you learn, the more frightened you become of what's coming for our future. Deutsche Bank's derivatives book, from what I found out researching it the other night, it's going to lock up the system. Now, some analysts out there say that it's going to crash the whole world's financial system. You know? No, it's not going to crash the world's financial system. It's going to lock it up. You say, well, what does that mean, lock it up? Just exactly what I say. It's going to freeze everything in the banking systems. All the banks. It's going to freeze them. And it's going to freeze all the markets. It's going to freeze everything in the world. It's going to freeze everything that's connected to money. It's going to affect everyone out there. It's about probably 3 to 6 months away. We probably got another 3 months anyway before it happens. It's going to lock up everything. And what that means for you is, it means that at your place of work, everything, the whole world's going to come to a grinding stop because everything runs on money. Everything runs on money. This is going to be the biggest panic situation, the biggest crisis, sudden crisis, because when everything locks up, everything's going to be just exactly the way it was the second it locked up when they unlock it. Except the channels of debt that extend out from the derivatives of Deutsche Bank to these banks, and that's what locks the system up. They just can't cope. There's $45 trillion there. The nominal value of these derivatives is probably less, but still, we're talking trillions. That's going to instantaneously go through the system when Deutsche Bank goes down. It's going to lock up these other banks because they don't know, once that damage hits these other banks, they don't know where their tentacles are going to extend out to other banks again, and on it goes. It's like when you knock down dominoes, you know. It's the same sort of a deal. So, this Deutsche Bank going down, they're going to have no choice. When it goes down, they're going to have to unlock the system. And there's only one way to unlock the system. They're going to have to track down every bank that's been hit by the Deutsche Bank derivatives book that was connected to Deutsche Bank, heavily connected to Deutsche Bank. And this means banks like J.P. Morgan Bank and, you know, all the big banks. You can name them. They're the ones that are really heavily connected to that balance book, to the Deutsche Bank derivatives book. They're going to have to track down each one of those banks and then make them solvent. In other words, the government is going to have to extend a line of credit directly from the Federal Reserve to each one of the banks that have been hit by the Deutsche Bank derivatives book problem. And they're going to have to make them whole again. Once they do that, then the system's unlocked, and it starts. The moment the system starts again, it starts exactly where it left off. So stock prices would be exactly the same. Gold prices would be exactly the same. Now, the only prices I don't think that are going to lock during this is cryptocurrency. It'll continue to run. But gold and silver is going to be locked. Gold and silver price is not going to be moving during the crisis until they unlock the system. So, could this be an advantage to cryptocurrency, the fact that it can trade when the rest of the financial system is locked up? We have to take that into consideration because that's big. How long will the system be locked up when Deutsche Bank goes down? I'm thinking anywhere from 1 week to about maybe 2 months. Because when that's locked up, so is everything else. Your local grocery store, your bank, your teller machines, even your place of work. This is going to be chaos. It's going to be chaos for a few weeks, and the government is going to be looked at to cure this problem, and there's only one way they can cure this problem, by extending a line of credit to the banks, basically bailing all of the banks out that were connected. Now, once the system becomes unlocked again, I can tell you exactly what's going to happen. Gold, silver, cryptocurrency to the moon, because of the amount of stimulus it's going to take to unlock these banks. This is directly in our future, and it's directly ahead for cryptocurrencies. So, this is going to make cryptocurrencies and gold and silver, the people that bought in, very, very happy. You know? And, in fact, I don't see any other way out for Deutsche Bank at this point in time. Nobody's stepping in to rescue them. They're too big to rescue. They're too big to fail. And at the same time, I think they're just trying to... Everybody out there in all the financial world right now is just kind of like trying to ignore the situation. Pretend it's not happening. While Deutsche Bank just tries to stay alive for the next few months. Until it becomes obvious that Deutsche Bank can't stay alive. And that their plan's not working. This is gonna be the most serious, probably the most serious situation you've been through in your lives. In my life, your life. I mean, this is going to be horrendous when it locks up the financial system. And it's going to be one of those fist-clenching moments where you don't know if they're going to be able to cure the problem or not. When they go in, they're going to actually probably have to go into special meetings and everything, meetings of the world central banks, and they're going to have to probably establish a. This is going to create a situation that's unbelievable in a few months from now. But if that wasn't all, well, I don't even want to talk about Italy. And around that exact same period in time, we've got the United Kingdom talking about a hard Brexit, that's going to come due on the 31st of October. So an awful lot's going to be happening this fall. This is the time frame that all this is pointing to. After this stuff happens, then we're going to see cryptocurrencies go to the moon. But in that interim time, between now and then, we could go through an awful lot of volatility, and we are going through the price discovery mechanism right now, and so Bitcoin's trying to establish a price. Right now, 10,627. Let's just refresh the page again. 10,564. So yeah, it's kind of going along sideways right now again, just above $10,000. Listen, thank you guys for listening to this show, and we'll catch you guys again very, very soon.